guys, welcome back to another video.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today
we're going to be reacting to the top 20 best TV shows of the century so far.
Today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 best TV shows of the century so far. For this list, we're looking at the greatest TV shows that have so far aired in the 21st century. The shows in question could have begun before the year 2000, as long as they aired a majority of their run in the 21st century.
The newcomers are just looking for the same thing we are. A place to be free.
We will only be including scripted shows, so reality TV, talk shows, and animation will not be included.
With the clothes on their back, they came through a storm. And the ones that didn't die want a better life, and they want it here. Talk about impressive.
Number 20, Stranger Things.
You guys hear that?
Netflix's flagship series, Stranger Things, transported audiences to Hawkins, Indiana for classic sci-fi horror and more 80s references than you can shake a stick at. Steeped in the works of Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, John Carpenter, and other genre masters, the Duffer Brothers series gained an instant following and quickly became a cultural phenomenon.
It's in some Lord of the Rings book.
It also managed to kickstart and reinvigorate several acting careers, and pick up plenty of accolades along the way, including 5 Primetime Emmy wins and 4 Golden Globe nominations. With its wonderful cast and a story that feels both new and familiar at the same time, it's a show that consistently provides just about the most fun you can have in front of a TV.
Hey,
Number 19, 6 Feet Under. This show has to be one of the most relentlessly morose yet weirdly uplifting things ever put on television. It primarily deals with human mortality and the pain, ambiguity, and philosophical quandaries it represents.
You know, people don't just spaz out and hork all over their shoes for no good reason, Nate.
2 words. Tofu meatloaf.
The plot follows the proprietors of a funeral home and their interactions with each other and the grieving people who walk through their doors.
God damn it, David. I told you I wanted to be cremated.
It explores many heavy and dense themes concerning mortality, and it certainly isn't afraid to mine the absolute depths of human pain and suffering.
Yeah, society propagates this vision of people hooking up and staying together forever. In reality, how often does that actually happen?
That said, it also finds time for contentment and tranquility, and its brilliant finale remains one of the most beautiful and soul-soothing episodes ever aired on TV. Number 18, The Good Place. The Good Place shares a lot in common with 6 Feet Under, only it's lighthearted and hilarious instead of relentlessly soul-crushing.
During your time on Earth, every one of your actions had a positive or a negative value, depending on how much good or bad that action put into the universe.
This is creator Michael Schur's 3rd show, following the acclaimed Parks and Recreation and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it is arguably the best of the bunch.
So who's in the bad place? That would shock me.
Well, Mozart, Picasso, Elvis, basically every artist ever.
It contains their signature rapid-fire wit and cuddly warmth, but it also explores deeper themes about the human condition.
This is a job for a human. One who's tough, but also empathetic, and has a big heart, and a world-class bullshit detector.
It's taken philosophical inspiration from numerous sources, including Aristotle, Jonathan Dancy, and Immanuel Kant, as well as Sartre's existential play No Exit. It was one of the smartest, funniest, and surprisingly humane sitcoms of the decade. Number 17, Barry.
Leroy Jenkins!
Well, this isn't quite what we expected from Bill Hader, but alright. Barry is Hader's comedy drama, and it follows the titular Barry, a hitman who wants nothing more than to leave his criminal past behind and become a full-time actor.
You know how you and I talk all the time about my purpose?
You think acting could be your purpose?
The show shares a lot in common with Breaking Bad, as it contains similar themes and tones, not to mention the whole idea of a man hiding his true identity from those who are closest to him. Of course, this is also much funnier than Breaking Bad ever was, given it's more a dark comedy than a drama. It's also packed with incredible actors, including Emmy-winning performances from Hader and Henry Winkler. It comes highly recommended.
I just saw you go to a place tonight I have never seen before. I don't know if you can do it again, but it was amazing.
Number 16, 30 Rock. Despite receiving consistent praise and even being named one of the best written shows of all time by the Writers Guild of America, 30 Rock significantly struggled in the ratings.
I'm Jack Donaghy, new VP of Development for NBCGE Universal Kmart.
We own Kmart now.
No. So why are you dressed like we do?
It's a shame because it deserves to be seen by as many people as possible. The show is lightly adapted from Tina Fey's experiences working at Saturday Night Live, and it follows the cast, crew, and corporate overlords of a similar sketch comedy program.
The writers can't take a car service at night anymore. I've crunched the numbers, and it's cheaper for us to just replace anyone who gets murdered.
30 Rock drew consistent praise for its production values, razor-sharp and rapid-fire writing, and the performances of its cast.
I am real. Wouldn't imaginary me know that you have a mole on your list of pets to get?
It made careers, it revitalized careers, and the writing amazed viewers with just how smart, fast, and hilarious it could be. Honestly, it's a comedy.
This November, your favorite sponge is taking over.
Did you hear that, Gary?
With a whole channel of antics, streaming
masterclass. Number 15, Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica, or Battleship Galaxy as Michael Scott calls it, is arguably the greatest science fiction show of all time.
We created you. Us. It was a stupid, fractured decision and we have paid for it.
While some recent programs like Altered Carbon and The Expanse have garnered their share of popularity, neither has yet reached the heights of Battlestar Galactica.
Here you are. Race, invented murder, invented killing for sport, greed, envy. It's man's one true art form.
Like all great science fiction stories, this one uses its futuristic setting as an allegory to explore topical themes like the War on Terror and the Catholic Church.
The plan is, everything blows up a week ago. All humans are dead, we Cylons all download, and the universe basks in justice.
Of course, you can just ignore all that and enjoy the incredible story and scenery at face value. It's a treat for the mind, the eyes, and the heart. Number 14, Chappelle's Show. This is arguably the most important sketch comedy show of all time, not only due to the quality of the show itself, but also for what it represents.
Can you stop yelling at me, please?
No, I can't stop yelling, because that's how I talk. You ain't never seen my movies?
Chappelle's Show contained many hilarious, topical, and thematic sketches, and it introduced a host of timeless characters into the pop culture consciousness, primarily the crack-addicted Tyrone Biggums.
I did 2 hits of that. And Bugs Bunny and Scooby-Doo and all my favorite cartoon heroes came to my room and ate cookies with me and sang songs for 16 hours.
The skits were smarter, funnier, and certainly more cutting edge than your typical comedy sketches. But it also showcases the merits in artistic integrity and spiritual contentment.
I always wanted to say this. For shizzle.
Chappelle famously walked away from $50 million as the stresses of fame, production, and artistic quality had started taking an effect on his mental health.
My brother had these brand new couches, they were suede, right? And he gets on the couch and says, "Why don't I stretch out?"
We greatly respect that decision. And besides, you know what they say, always leave them wanting more. Number 13, Deadwood. Deadwood tells the sort of true, sort of made-up story of, well, Deadwood, a small town in South Dakota. The series charts a path through the town's rough-and-tumble, not quite legal origins to its official status as a recognized town, complete with historical figures like Seth Bullock, Wild Bill Hickok, Calamity Jane, and Al Swearingen.
You see me empty, sir. Do not pause and inquire. Simply assume and refill.
David Milch uses the story of Deadwood as a microcosm to explore the greater merits of civilization. The very act of disparate individuals putting aside their differences and working together to form a greater and more prosperous whole.
What conceivable godly use was the screaming of all those men? Did you need to hear their death agonies to know your omnipotence?
It also contains some stellar production values, magnificent poetic writing, and an all-time performance from Ian McShane as Al Swearingen, one of the most captivating, interesting, and complex characters in television history.
The world ends when you're dead. Until then, you got more punishment in store. Stand it like a man and give some back.
Number 12, The Office. The Office is one of those exceptionally rare American adaptations that actually worked.
Time a cookie.
Despite a generally rocky first season, The Office soldiered through and presented us with some incredible television.
Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing.
The characters were instantly relatable and charming, the humor was hilariously dry, and it contained a surprisingly gooey and warm center, led primarily by the relationship between Jim and Pam.
Are you free for dinner tonight?
Yes.
All right. Then it's a date.
Steve Carell also gave the performance of his career as Michael Scott, who, in our opinion, is one of the most endearing characters in sitcom history.
The worst thing about prison was the Dementors. They were flying all over the place, and they were scary, and then they come down and they suck the soul out of your body, and it hurts!
It's one of those shows you never want to end, and when it does, you find yourself missing the characters and the cozy world they inhabited. So you start it again, and again, and again. Send help. Number 11, The Americans.
Maybe this is the perfect time for us just to think about living the life we've been living, but just really living it.
It's clear that Breaking Bad has been an enormous influence on this decade's television. And as with Barry, there are comparisons to be made with The Americans.
Pleased to meet you.
Likewise.
I leave you two to get acquainted. There is so much to talk about.
It follows two Soviet spies pretending to be a married American couple in suburban Washington. And wouldn't you know it, their neighbor works counterintelligence for the FBI.
You're spies? We serve our country, but we also serve the cause of peace around the world.
The show contains all the excitement and glorious cat-and-mouse tension you'd expect, but it also serves as a contemplative look at marriage and self-identification. The fact that it can also effortlessly balance the two tones and genres is amazing, and both Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys turn in wonderful performances. This flew under the mainstream radar for most of its run, but it's already a cult classic.
We had a job to do. We had a job to do.
Feel like the boss with our interactive features. Watch that last minute.
Number 10. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Come on.
Expectations were unbelievably high for Larry David's follow-up to Seinfeld. Hence the possibly meta title. This show does share a few similarities with its spiritual predecessor, including a selfish protagonist and humor generated around misunderstandings and social faux pas.
Proud Jews wear yarmulkes.
Yeah, be proud here in the parking lot. You don't need to be proud in there.
Let's just go in and sit down.
Take it off. Take it off.
David plays a fictionalized version of himself, a selfish and very set-in-his-ways man who refuses to conform to societal expectations.
You didn't thank him for his service, asshole.
They thanked him. 3 people thanked him. Why do I have to thank him?
He doesn't make for the most agreeable protagonist, but his tactless personality certainly makes for many hilarious and horribly awkward situations.
Why did you cut her hair?
She asked me. She asked me to give it a haircut.
The talents of the cast must also be commended, as much of the show is improvised around a general story outline. It can certainly be a tough watch, but we've never seen awkward and cringe-inducing humor done so well.
I was in a concentration camp. You never even suffered 1 minute in your life compared to what I went through.
It is truly painful stuff. Number 9. Fleabag.
I'm just gonna ask her. I'm just gonna come.
Do you need to borrow money?
No. Can't do it.
Between Fleabag and Killing Eve, Phoebe Waller-Bridge had herself a fantastic and very prosperous decade. And while both shows are great, it's Fleabag that is often showered with the praise and accolades. Waller-Bridge plays Fleabag, an erotic woman trying to live her life and having lots of sex in modern London. And while the show sounds like a traditional sitcom, Waller-Bridge's instantly memorable performance and intelligent writing helped turn it into must-watch TV. It never generated endless theories on Reddit, and it didn't wow us with an expensive production. It's just a funny, heartwarming, and well-told story. And we can all use a little bit more of that.
Here we go.
Sorry, I just...
What's happened?
Nothing's happened. What's happened? Something's happened.
Come on.
Spit it
I
out.
just
had a good time to say.
Number 8. Atlanta. The premise behind Atlanta is welcoming. The consistently enjoyable Donald Glover plays a struggling young man who decides to manage his cousin's budding rap career. Only the show is so much more than that, and frankly, it's quite hard to accurately describe.
$1.49? But the price on the can, though.
The price is on the can, though.
Glover himself has called it Twin Peaks with rappers, and that is certainly an accurate description. The show veers wildly between surrealist comedy, hard-hitting personal drama, introspective character study, nightmarish horror, and a thematic look into the social media-obsessed hip-hop culture.
Hey, Marcus Miles is pretty cool, man. You know he got that invisible car. What?
It's original, it's fresh, and above all, it somehow remains consistently enjoyable despite its peculiar trappings. It is one of the most bizarre yet rewarding TV shows we've ever seen. Number 7, Lost. Lost is enormously influential, and various shows are still trying to recapture its lightning-in-a-bottle magic. This is the event show to end all event shows, garnering endless speculation and theories, 6 years of pent-up public excitement, and upwards of 20 million viewers a week at its peak.
The unique properties of this island have created a kind of Casimir effect.
While Lost is mostly remembered for its fascinating mysteries, reveals, and plot twists, it also contained an incredible cast of characters who made us cry on a near-weekly basis.
Penny?
Desmond?
One only need think of Desmond and Penny's phone call or Locke standing up on the beach for the first time to start feeling the fuzzies.
We were not supposed to leave.
Yes, we were.
It may not have stuck the landing, but we shouldn't let a disappointing conclusion overshadow its inarguable qualities and influence.
We have to go back!
Number 6, Game of Thrones.
So long as I am your king, treason shall never go unpunished. Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
When it comes to event television, few shows compare to Game of Thrones. This show helped bridge the gap between TV and film, as it contained a stellar cast and the greatest production values ever seen on TV. Game of Thrones told a highly complex and intriguing story full of twists and shocking developments, and it was fascinating to watch its popularity rise throughout the years. While it started to slow, interest in the show slowly began to rise until it became the decade's biggest TV event, breaking all sorts of viewership records, launching careers, and promoting endless discussion on forums and social media sites. It didn't quite stick the landing, but it provided us with 8 years of peak TV.
Why do you think I came all this way?
Number 5, Mad Men. On the surface, Mad Men follows the employees of an advertising agency. It sounds boring, and it certainly could have been in the wrong hands.
Campbell, we're both men here, so I'm going to be direct.
Christ, are you already sleeping with her?
Advertising is a very small world.
Luckily, creator and head writer Matthew Weiner is a virtuoso, and he concocted the definitive statement on changing social mores and the counterculture movement of the 1960s.
Do you want me to dismiss her based on the color of her skin?
I said nothing of the kind. I'm merely suggesting a rearrangement of your rearrangement.
Like Deadwood, Mad Men uses the ad agency as a microcosm to explore greater and farther-reaching themes, and it is an absolute masterclass in character development. It's also telling that Mad Men aired throughout the late 2000s and early 2010s, another period rife with changing social mores.
There is no Danny's idea. Everything that comes in here belongs to the agency.
You mean you?
As long as you still work here.
It uses the 60s to tell a story of modern times, and it does it in a highly entertaining and stylish fashion.
From idea to submission, empower students to do their best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing.
I don't want any out of it.
Number 4, The Leftovers. Hypes were high for The Leftovers, Damon Lindelof's first television project since Lost. And while Lost fizzled out, many people were willing to forgive and see what he had in store. Luckily, they were not disappointed. The series is adapted from Tom Perrotta's novel of the same name, and concerns the leftovers on Earth who are, well, left over after 2% of the population mysteriously disappears.
He ended up writing a book? Oh, right. Right, I didn't read it. I assume he didn't mention me.
The subject matter makes for difficult viewing, as it painfully delves into the complexities of the human psyche. But those who stick around will be infinitely rewarded with some of the best acting and writing in television history. It's a masterpiece in every sense of the word, but it's certainly not for everyone.
Did you ask for my help, Kevin?
Yes.
This is me helping.
Number 3, The Wire. Typically regarded as one of the best shows ever made, if not the best, The Wire is arguably the most ambitious show ever created.
This the kingpin, alright? And he the man. You get the other dude's king, you got the game. And he trying to get your king too, so you got protected.
The Wire consistently sought lofty heights, and it mostly saw creator David Simon using the television medium to realistically depict the realities of inner-city life and politics.
So look, I'm looking for a stick-up boy named Omar. Dark-skinned, thin guy with a scar right down his face. You boys would definitely know him if you saw him because he's got a shotgun about yay long.
The Wire has consistently garnered acclaim for its realism, and that is largely due to Simon's background as a police reporter at the Baltimore Sun.
Yo, son, come on. Yo, Omar's coming, man.
He knew what was happening on the streets and in the police stations, schools, and government offices, and he used The Wire to accurately and dramatically relay that story.
The cheese stands alone.
It's the great American novel in TV form. Number 2, Breaking Bad. Now, if you want to talk entertaining, let's talk Breaking Bad. This is easily one of the most well-written and tightly plotted shows in history.
You got me.
You'd think the story was planned from the very beginning, as each action has a thrilling consequence, and the story remains fluid and natural throughout its entire run.
80 million. And all you've got to do is let him go.
It all culminates in the unbelievably thrilling and emotional Ozymandias, which some critics call the greatest episode of television ever made.
Look, you two guys are just guys, okay? Mr. White, he's the devil.
It also contains a slew of iconic characters, including Mr. Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, and Saul, Mike, and Gus, who were so popular and richly characterized that they received their own, surprisingly excellent spin-off.
I can't allow you to kill Hector. However, I am not completely unsympathetic to your sense of justice.
We've been chasing the high of Breaking Bad since 2013, and nothing has come close. I am personally very happy to see comedies represented with The Good Place and 30 Rock, because those are some of my favorite shows of all time, not only in the 21st century. Our number 1 is also one of my favorite shows ever, and it's one that changed the face of television forever. So, let's check out some honorable mentions, and then we'll see our greatest TV show of the 21st century so far.
Come on, where's your decent... What the hell just fell off your face? One of this guy's eyebrows just fell in the bowl of candy beans.
I was carrying a spare.
Well, I hope you also carry a spare bowl of candy beans.
Can you get a seat in a theater where white people sit? Or can you even ride in the South in the same streetcar with white people? And how about the law? Is lynching and the most horrible cruelties connected therewith a lawful proceeding in a democratic country?
Come on.
Oh, God, now I'm hot. Now it's really hot in here.
Okay, well, that's your fever.
Leslie, I typed your symptoms into the thing up here, and it says you could have network connectivity problems.
Does anybody want any more catfish?
Yo, dude, definitely give me another one of those. They're delicious. And you can taste that sort of endangered tang.
Starting on my left with 1, your number comes up, you go.
Just so you know, Jeff, you were now creating 6 different timelines.
Of course I am, Abed. 4.
For instance, you show me these photos. Trying to play my rage, my need for revenge. Didn't work.
Number 1, The Sopranos. The Sopranos changed the way television was made, and it legitimized the medium as a serious art form.
So you had coffee.
Right.
While prior shows had garnered their share of acclaim and popularity, TV was always seen as a lesser medium. The Sopranos not only showed that TV could tell dark, complex, and richly thematic stories, it single-handedly launched the golden age of TV dramas. And many of the dramas on this list owe their very existence to The Sopranos.
The Russians? They're not all bad.
How about the Cuban Missile Crisis? Cocksuckers moved nuclear warheads into Cuba, pointed them right at us.
That was real?
Most people expected a traditional gangster story, and while it was that in some ways, it also served as a dark and contemplative look at American life at the turn of the 21st century.
You said, what kind of animal smokes marijuana at his confirmation?
He was using illegal drugs in the home.
Did it ever occur to you that I might have been self-medicating?
It's a masterpiece of television, and it has yet to be dethroned. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch
I would say
Mojo.
so,
And be
yeah.
sure to subscribe and ring the bell.
I would say so, I agree with that. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.